Right into it, and with a basic question in this is, what debts cannot be discharged in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy?
Well, there are two classifications of debts. One is that there's a list of debts that can never be discharged. And the second classification, there's a list of debts that cannot be discharged if the creditor can prove you did what they say you did. And the debts that cannot typically be ever discharged are things like domestic support obligation, and that's child support and alimony. And these days, debts that are made according to a marital settlement agreement or a divorce decree that run to the ex-spouse cannot be discharged. And criminal fines and restitution cannot be discharged. Income taxes that are younger than or less than 3 years old, because sometimes taxes that are older than 3 years old can be discharged. Things like that. Then DUI or substance abuse accidents with motor vehicles or boats or airplanes cannot be discharged. But then there's a second classification of debts. If the creditor can come in and show you did something, then that's not dischargeable. That is, if and they have to do this within 60 days. They have to file litigation within 60 days of you meeting with the Chapter 7 trustee. And that is fraud, or if you have obtained a loan by using a false financial statement, or run up your credit card bills without the intent of repaying, or things like that, breach of a fiduciary duty, or those types of events. Then there are misconduct type debts that can't be discharged. If you have intentionally not reported on your schedule certain property, or hid property, or done something bad during the bankruptcy process, they can actually prevent you from discharging all of your debts.
Well, you know, that list makes sense to me. Everything on there sounds reasonable. With that said, then what would be the typical debts that are being wiped out in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy for the typical client?
Well, it has to do a lot with credit card debts or personal loans, or sometimes business loans that you're individually liable on. Medical bills are dischargeable, and things like that. A lot of times people are these days walking away from real estate that they own, and the mortgages on those on the houses can be discharged in a Chapter 7.
And that would be applying to people who are upside down on their house. They owe more than what the house is worth.
That's right, because typically later, if a house is foreclosed upon, as you know, if the house is worth a lot less than what you owe on it, a mortgage holder can come back and claim that you still owe the money. It's called a deficiency judgment.
Okay, so we've just talked about a Chapter 7, which is a straight liquidation type bankruptcy. So now